I'm making this video for people working with Magellan for Idaho Medicaid. I recently received my paper QuicRemit cards in the mail, and Magellan has instructed that the information on those cards can be used to sign up for EFT. So I'm talking about barriers to actually getting EFT set up, as well as some important things about the paper QuicRemit that I wanted to share just so it can hopefully save people some time and stress. On the left side of the screen, I have Magellan's website pulled up that is outlining the EFT enrollment process. And then on the right side is a Magellan supplied example of the paper QuicRemit, which is used to sign up for EFT. First off, I'll start with the QuicRemit that we receive in the mail. So this whole thing is paper. The card is just like a colored print on the paper, so there's no mag strip. You can't like pull this off of the paper and swipe it to use it. You have to do something to get the money off of it, either using those numbers or there's another method I'll talk about in a moment. To get the money off of this card, a person can use a card processing service like Square, or if you have a terminal, then you can type the numbers in and then process a payment. The issue with that is that there's a payment processing fee in my experience, and for me it would be like, I don't know, I think more than 3%, which would end up being well over $100 just to get the money off of this thing. So that's not the method I'm using. I spoke with some provider support people at Echo, and I was told they can cancel this QuicRemit and then issue me a paper check. I was told that it's 1 day to cancel the QuicRemit, 1 business day, and then 7 to 10 business days before I see the paper check in my mailbox. So that's the route I went with, and if you're wanting to avoid the payment processing fees associated with getting the money off of the QuicRemit, then I would suggest doing the same. So now moving on to the EFT enrollment with Magellan, their website here shows some information that I've found to not be completely accurate. The options here show option 1, no fees, and this is for only enrolling to Echo for Magellan. And then option 2 is a feed applied option. And this one is if you're wanting all payers to get processed through this Echo thing, which if you're in a situation like me, you already have your payers EFTs set up and they work well, so there's no reason to choose option 2 in that scenario, in my opinion. Option 2 might be appropriate if a person's signing up for a whole bunch of EFTs, if they're like getting started in a new practice or something like that. But for what I'm talking about today will be option 1, the free option. So Magellan says enrollment for Magellan claims, payment only, and then they have this little link. If you click the link, it brings you here, which is something that seems like it's the right place. Say click here, and then enroll using TIN, and then you would enter your tax identification number, and then using the QuicRemit information. Again, this one on the right side of the screen is just an example. Your numbers will be different, but we would take the draft number, which is the transaction number at the top there, and then you would put that in the draft number, and draft amount is the card value, and you would put that in the draft amount, and then click submit. So what I've discovered is that just automatically leads you to this option 2 thing, which it obviously should not, but that's the way they set up their system, and it feels very misleading. So this is where I ran into my issue with EFT enrollment. From my understanding, we can just disregard this Magellan like enrollment thing here, and what we actually need, according to provider support, are some other forms that you don't find on their website. They email them to you. So here's EFT and ERA. So EFT being electronic funds transfer, ERA being electronic remittance advice. So here's the instructions for it, supposedly for like the single payer, like Magellan only option. So that's the instructions for the form, and then this here is the actual form. So EFT and ERA enrollment form, and it's all the same questions and everything. So you just complete all this info. Again, you put your draft number, which is found on the QuicRemit here in the Echo draft number location, and then the draft amount, which is also found on the QuicRemit in the Echo draft amount spot. And then just continue filling all this stuff out. Click print, do save as PDF or whatever. And the instructions say you can either mail it in, or you can submit it with a ticket on the Echo EDI support website. EDI is Electronic Data Exchange. So enter your name here, your email, and then the request type being EFT enrollment or combined EFT ERA enrollment. For me, I want everything electronic. I don't like getting mail, so I chose this. And then I just put something like new enrollment for single payer only and Magellan Healthcare. Something like this is what I would put for the subject. Please see attached form for EFT/ERA enrollment. Okay, and then from your folder, wherever your saved document is, go ahead and drag and drop it onto this area that says drag and drop to add the attachment. And be sure to watch this progress bar, because if you submit before it shows the document, it won't be attached. So now I see Magellan EFT ERA application Echo, and here we've got the file size, so I know that it's been uploaded. And then do your little CAPTCHA thing and click submit. And this is just an example, so I'm not going to submit this. But that, to my understanding, is how you actually enroll in the single payer option, the one that avoids the unnecessary fees. So if you do the all payer option, it's just about 2%, 1.99% for each payment, which if a person's been in private practice for any amount of time, it's not unrealistic to make it over $100,000 a year, and right there alone would be an extra $2,000 in expenses that a person would incur by doing the all-payer option. And according to Magellan, according to Echo, the single payer option is free. And so that's what I'm showing here, is how to submit the application for the single payer option, because the Magellan website doesn't seem to accurately show the process. But I wanted to share this info because I think it's important. I talked about the QuicRemit, and that you shouldn't throw that away, because that's your way of getting money. And that QuicRemit, even once you sign up for EFT, the physical paper you've got in front of you, that amount of money isn't going to your EFT according to the provider support I spoke with. So it's important to attend to that money, get it off of there, either using the payment processing, which most of the time in my experience costs money, or call them at the phone number on the QuicRemit and request that they send you a paper check instead, which would not cost you anything to cash. And then we also talked about the Magellan instructions on EFT enrollment and how those kind of lead to somewhere they shouldn't for the single payer enrollment. And then I've shown the actual instruction sheet and enrollment form for Echo for the single payer option, and then shown how to submit that form to Echo using their EDI support ticket service here. So I will include all the links to this stuff in the description. And if you have any other information that's helpful to others, feel free to share it in the comments, or any questions, feel free to ask those. So thanks for tuning in. Toodles.